Hey there, Math 8, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about lesson 1.2, converting with fractions. So we're going to look at a lot of mixed numbers to improper fractions, improper back to mixed numbers, and then we're also going to be able to match common fractions with their decimal equivalents. I'm going to help you find a few different ways to try those. We're going to get started with just these first three. You're just going to watch me do these first to get a good grip of how we can change from mixed numbers to impropers, and then you're going to pause on the next part and try it by yourself. One way I learned this before is something called the Texas TwoStep. And what that means is you're going to be able to do these in 2 steps. And all you're going to do is provide a T and an X. What that really means is you're going to start here down at the 5. You're going to do 5 times 7 plus 3. So this is my thought process. 5 times 7 plus 3. 5 groups of 7 is 35. And 35 plus 3 is 38. So this becomes my numerator, or my top number, over 5, still remaining the same. Okay, so we're going to try that Texas two-step again with number 2. 8 times 6 plus 5. 8 times 6 is 48, and 48 plus 5 is 53. So we're going to get 53 on the top, over 8 still as the bottom number. See how it's not changing? The next one, again, 10 times 9 plus 2. I know 10 times 9 is 90, and 90 plus 2 is 92. So I'm going to have it 92 over 10 being that same denominator. Now what I want you to do is pause this video here. You're going to try to convert each mixed number to an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and pause the video now. Take a moment to try it on your own, and then when you're done, click play to check. So these I'm going to go a little bit quicker. Again, we're still doing Texas two-steps. I'm going to do 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. I'm going to get 10 over 4. Here's the trick you need to know, though. 10 over 4 can be reduced. And I realize I just didn't reduce number 3, so I'm going to go back to that in a second. 10 over 4, if I divide both by 2, because they're both even, I get 5 over 2. I could have also reduced that 2/4 into 1/2. And 2.5 also is 5/2. So my fault when I didn't reduce this over here. 92 and 10, those are both even numbers. We can easily just divide by 2, see what we get. 92 divided by 2 is 46. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we get 46/5. And that's your simplest form for that one. Let's keep going though. Number 5, 6 and 1/9. 9 times 6 is 54 plus 1, 55. Boom. You get 55 over 9. 5 and 5/7. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 plus 5 is 40. So we get 40 over 7. Both of these are in their simplest form. 3 and 1/8. We should have gotten 25 over 8. I know 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 3 and 3/12. Notice that this 3/12 could be simplified. 3 and 3/12 is also 3 and 1/4. So I'm going to show you how quickly I can get that once I reduce that 3/4, or that 3 and 3/12. I just divided both by 3. Okay, so watch what happens. 4 times 3 plus 1 is 13 over 4. Now, if you didn't do that, that's okay. You just did 12 times 3, which is 36, plus 3 is 39. So you get 39 over 12, okay? But the tricky thing with this, I know it doesn't look like it, but it can be reduced if you divide them both by 3. 39 divided by 3 is 13. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So maybe reducing first could help you. And then our last one, 11 times 6 is 66, plus 1 is 67 over 11. Okay? Our next order of business is changing improper fractions to mixed numbers. So this one is where you're going to practice more of your division. How I like to think about it is this. I have 27 over 5, which actually means 27 divided by 5. On the calculator, unless you're using a fancy calculator, this is not going to give you the total number. So just kind of watch how I do it first, because if you do a calculator, it's only going to give you a decimal. And that's not exactly what we're looking for. 5 will go into 27 5 times with 2 left over. So this is where we go around the clock. Every day on the clock, the day starts at midnight. So we start at the top and then go in a clockwise fashion. Okay. So this first number that I found, that's my big unit number. 2 is my next number. That's the top numerator. and 5 is my last one. That is my denominator. So 5 2/5 is my mixed number. I'm going to do the same thing with 53/8. 53 divided by 8. 8 will go into 53 6 times, because 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, we subtract. 53 minus 48 is 5. So my mixed number is 6 and 5/8 around the clock. 6 is my big number, 5 numerator, 8 still the denominator. Sometimes you can do these in your brain. 10 will go into 72 7 times with 2 left over, because 10 times 7 is 70. So I get 7 2/10, but again, these 2/10 can be reduced. So that is going to make it be 7 1/5. Could have kind of done a little shortcut here. If you just would have taken 72 over 10 first, maybe you reduced it, then you get 36 over 5, which still equals 7 1/5. Okay, so here's your turn. Taking these improper fractions, changing them to a mixed number. Let's go ahead and pause here. See what you can do by yourself. When you're done and ready, click play. All right, let's try it. 11/12 should be 5 1/2. 2 will go into 11 exactly 5 times with 1 left over. 8 will go into 45. We've got that one as 5 times. I know 5 times 8 is 40 with 5 remaining. So 5 5/8 for number 14. 5 will go into 42 8 times with 2 left over. So I have 8 2/5 for number 15. Number 16, 6 will go into 15 twice with 3 left over. Now look at this. 2 3/6 can be reduced to 2 1/2, because 3 can go into both 3 and 6 if I divide it just like that. Okay, 7/5, 5 can go into 7 exactly 1 time with 2 remaining. So I get 1 2/5. 86/10. Maybe reduce this one first, because these are big numbers. Half of 86. I'm going to divide both these by 2. 86 divided by 2 is 43. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 will go into 43 8 times with 3 left over. So I get 8 3/5. Okay. Our last section is determining how to change decimals into fractions. And I'm sorry about the order here, but we'll work with that. One way you can do that is just remembering what these are. So if you have them memorized, that's fine, but you could also say it mathematically. So this decimal is 5/10. So how you'd write 5/10 is exactly like this, 5 over 10, right? And then you would just simplify it. 5/10 is equal to 1/2. Okay, so let's try it with this one. 0.25 is like the lazy way to say this decimal, so we want to make sure we are saying it correctly, mathematically correct. This is 2 in the 10th spot, 5 in the 100th spot. Hundredths. So this is being said as 25 hundredths, which means 25 over 100, right? And then you reduce it all the way down to 1/4. I'm thinking about quarters when I reduce it there. Okay, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, 7.75, you should have this one memorized. That one's 3/4, but in case you didn't, this is 75 hundredths. And then just divide both of these by 25, you get 3/4. Okay, 0.20, this is 20 hundredths. So I get 20 over 100. I can reduce that maybe to 2/10 and reduce it again to be 1/5. And then this 0.40, either have it memorized or say this is 40 hundredths. Reduce, take off some zeros, so I get 4/10. Reduce again, cut it in half, divide by 2, I get 2/5. Okay, I'm going to have you try these. Some of these you might already know, so you don't necessarily have to do the whole tenths, hundredths, thousandths, but go ahead and number these 19 through 23. Try it, and when you're done, click play. All right, this first one, 80 hundredths. 80 over 100 reduces to 8 over 10, which reduces to 4/5. 60 hundredths. 60 over 100, 6/10, or 3/5. This one is interesting. Notice how it has this repetition bar. So that means 0.3 repeating. So that means you got a bajillion threes forever and ever. There is a special way that you can find this as a fraction, but this one you should have memorized as 1/3. If not, memorize it now. The same thing is true for 0.6 repeating. That means you're going to have a bajillion sixes forever and ever. That one is 2/3 as a fraction. This last one, kind of tricky. I would say that one takes a little bit extra time. This is 125 thousandths. 125 thousandths. Okay. Now, this could take you a very long time if you divide by fives, but you could actually divide everything by 125. So if you divided 125 by 125, you get 1, and 1,000 divided by 125 is 8. So your final answer is 1/8. Okay, that is going to conclude our notes for today, and thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next time.